And you're very welcome back. And that was the sound, as I said, of John Allen and Joanna. Well, the Butt Drama Circle celebrated its 50th anniversary in 2009, having started out in the Butt Hall Balbuffet in 1959. Over the years, the Butt Drama Circle has evolved and now is much more than just an amateur drama club. The last few months have seen the Butt Drama Circle enjoy great success. In December, the one-act play In Other Words won the ADCI All-Ireland One-Act Festival in Ennis, and now an incident with Dave Cotter has qualified for the ADCI All-Ireland Finals to be held in Athlone in May, winning Best Play Award in Tubbercurry, Newton Stewart, Cavan and Enniskillen and Drama Festivals, to name but a few of the awards that they have won to date. Joining me in the studio now, I have got JC Bonar, Best Actor in the One Act Circle, and Shaun Byrne, Director, Author and Actor of the 3-act An Incident with Dave Cotter, which has qualified with 8 other plays for the All-Ireland Finals in Athlone in the next few weeks. You're very welcome, both of you, Shaun and JC.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you.
And JC, you weren't around in 1959 now, is it?
No, I wasn't there that far back, no.
But you've been with the Butt Drama Circle for a long time.
I've been with the Butt Drama Circle now since 1982. I came on to help out with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. That was a play that Susan had done at the time. So my job was putting the makeup on the dwarfs and keeping them in one place for the night.
Perfect.
So that was my job, first job with them.
And just if I ask you just to move a wee tiny bit closer to the mic, just to get the levels up just a minute. Yeah, perfect. So the One Act Festival, JC, am I right in saying that's the first time that the Butt entered a One Act play?
First time, yeah, that we entered the One Act Festival. So yeah, we must say first time. Not say first time lucky, we hope that we'll have a success, but yeah, it was good. It was a great production, great experience doing the One Act.
Yes.
But it's so different from the 3 acts.
That's what I was going to say. That it has to be within the 55 minutes.
Yeah.
And again, it was yourself and Alice Gilday, so the two of you were just on the stage and know where to go.
That's it. Yeah.
So, in other words, it was a beautiful play. What attracted you to the play in the first place, JC?
I found the play 2016 when it was being staged in the West End. Couldn't get the script, couldn't get the rights at that stage, but I had saved it. Then when we decided this year that we were going to do the One Acts, having looked for a suitable play, I suddenly remembered this, and the rights were available and the script was available, so sent off for it. I intended to direct it first, then I read the script and I thought, no, I want to play Arthur.
I remember you telling me that at the Letterkenny Festival.
That's right.
So how was it to be an actor under somebody else's direction? Monica Doherty directed it.
Monica directed. Oh, very easy. Monica done all the work. We just learned the lines in order to tell a lie. It was very easy. Monica's such a great director and just made it very comfortable. I think it was the subject matter was quite heavy, but it was enjoyable and it was fun to do. So it was.
And it's about dementia and a couple growing old, and as you say, it was beautifully done, and it was quite hard, I'm sure, to go from when you were young and then when you were had dementia. Then
that's right. Initially, the initial research was hard to learn the 7 stages of dementia. But actually, when you got into the rehearsal room, and the more you done it, it was more muscle memory that you just very easily slipped onto each. It was like 7 different characters, and you just slipped on very easy to each state. So it was good.
And you won. You were only in 3 festivals, and you won the All Irelands from that.
Yeah, we did. We were very lucky. We won the Letterkenny Festival, which gave us a great start, and we won. Can't think of the name. We came 3rd in Claremorris, and then Claremorris. I can't think of the name of the festivals now, but we got 2 first and a second, which qualified us for the All Ireland, and which is good because we were under no impression that we were going to win the All Ireland. So we went down just with the intention of having a good time and doing the show for one
Pressure
last
was
time.
off, yeah.
Pressure was off. So yeah, it was really good.
And of course, Alice, your co-actor, she she was sort of has just gone into acting. She was fabulous.
This was her first full performance in a play. She's done other smaller roles in musicals and stuff like that, and she's a great singer and a great musician. But
Great performance.
first actor,
Ah.
she was just amazing.
It was a
to work with.
difficult one for her because
That
she
was
kind of
really
had to be an anchor against you.
She did.
You know,
You know,
it was a hard
yeah,
one to do,
yeah.
to be that sort of straight role for a lot of the time. She does crack, like, but
Yeah.
it was hard
But it
hard
was,
for her to
yeah,
come and
fair
do that.
play to Alice. She did a crack, and she still is. Done a cracking job.
And of course, you got Best Actor in the All Ireland JC.
Yes.
And the other awards, and Monica got the Best
And
Director
Alice got best
Best
actress
Actress.
as well.
So you
yeah.
couldn't do better than
we
that.
Couldn't, we couldn't get much better than it. We really couldn't.
And before we finish off tonight, there's a chance in May to see this again. So we'll talk about that at the end of the
Okay,
show.
yeah,
And
perfect.
Shaun, if I just can just go to you now, and I said you weren't involved in 1959 either.
No, I wasn't. No. My connection to the Ballard starts, I suppose, in '97. Kieran Quinn. We were just talking about it outside. Kieran Quinn asked me to come and read for a part in a comedy Farsi was doing called Hotel Party. So I'd been involved actually when I was in secondary school in the Schools Festival in the '80s. That was my first time on the stage, and that's a great competition that we run in the club. You know, it introduces a lot of young people to the stage and takes that fear out of people to get on the stage. And I guess part of me just wanted to go back. So Kieran was kind of pushing an open door there. So I was lucky enough. And then Monica was doing a few festival plays, so I got involved in that. So I've been 25 years off and on now. So been involved in quite a few shows down through the years.
Well, a history teacher by day, and of course this is the 50th anniversary of Bloody Sunday this year. And not only did you act and direct and produce the play, but you actually wrote it yourself. Did it take you long to do that, Shaun?
It came in two parts, Jean. I wrote the first act about 4 years ago. Comes out of an incident when I was working in London when I was at college. Went over to work in the summer and worked on a site, and there was always a tension there between the Irish workers and a lot of the other labourers were ex-British soldiers. So there was always a sort of a tension there. So I wanted to write about something, and Bloody Sunday seemed to be the natural. When in the middle of the writing, it was obvious Bloody Sunday was what it was going to be about. One of the soldiers was going to be, or the labourers was going to have been there, and one of the young Irish guys was going to have a connection to somebody who was actually killed on Bloody Sunday. But it stayed as a one act, and we were going to put it on. Remember, we were going to put on 3 one acts there just before lockdown, and it was in early stages of being put on. And then lockdown happened with COVID, and then it got put in the back burner. And then last year, this whole thing about Soldier F not being prosecuted, and Dennis Hutchins, who was going to be prosecuted in Belfast, who was brought over and tried for the murder of John Pat Cunningham, who actually caught COVID and died. And I started thinking, well, this could be a second half to that one act. What would happen if 30 years later these characters were to meet again, and the Dave Cotter character was actually to be, for want of a better term, this Soldier F type character who's going to be prosecuted as the symbolic soldier for Bloody Sunday. So that came out of that then. The second half was written quite quickly, actually. So that's the basis of it. Yeah, the history teaching, I guess, does help me there, you know, because I have no fear looking up sources and researching and stuff like that. But you still have to kind of base it around a story. It's not just facts. Facts themselves can be quite cool for an audience, and you can't give them just a polemic. You know, you have to build a story in and around, and they have to invest in the character. So I suppose the key is marriage between both of those two things, you know.
And I suppose being a history teacher, you have to try and find the grey, you know, and not be unbiased as well, and you know, give a fair account of it. And I think I just read an article there, I think it was maybe Donegal Live, that the Newton Stewart adjudicator felt that it was a very theatrical piece of theatre that showed a balanced two sides to a very difficult but important aspect of our recent history. So I think that was a great tribute to you as a writer, Shaun.
It was, yeah. That was Declan Drone. Yeah, he said some nice things about it. And I was just saying to JC on the way over, people have been coming up to me after the show and making that point that from both sides of the community, you know, both spectrums, that it's quite balanced. I never thought of the British soldiers side, or thanks for bringing out the British soldiers side, what they went through and the effect this might have had on somebody's life, because it already destroys this guy's life. But at the same time, we did want to bring out the main impact, which was on the people who and the families of the people who were killed on Bloody Sunday. But yeah, you got to invest some kind of balance. Otherwise the audience is going to tune out, I suppose, you know.
And of course, you've won so many awards yourself for best actor. Christopher Quinn, your co-partner for best actor, best play. So you've swept the boards in
we
many
have
festivals.
done great, Jane. We've won over 20 awards, which is fantastic. We won 4 festivals. We were down to do 8, but unfortunately, because of COVID, we had to pull out of 1. COVID's had an effect on us. JC had to come in for sound in one of the shows because we had no sound man for that show, and we had Brian in for sound. We had 3 different sound men. We're going to have to change for a lighting man now too. So we've been impacted by COVID on that. But the awards are always great to win awards. You know yourself when you're involved. Gives the show momentum and keeps the cast and crew happy. And if you're going towards something which became a possibility then after our first show, aiming towards Athlone, it's nice then to think, oh yeah, we're on the board here. We could qualify. And just from a selfish acting point of view, I just love acting in this role, and it's nice to prolong that and to get to perform a few more times, you know.
And as you say, that COVID was very challenging. There's challenges enough putting a 3-act play on the circuit, getting backstage and crew, but you know, not knowing who's going to have to drop out or things like that. I'm sure you had your headaches, Shaun.
We had, like I said, we had to pull out of 1 festival, and then we didn't rehearse for 2 weeks, and we had Newton Stewart, and all we had was 2 Zooms for an hour, me and Christopher. So we came into that, and the very fact that we were able to come in and do a good show, I think the rehearsal that we done in the Ballard over the winter sort of stood to us there, you know. But yeah, crew is another big problem with crew. I mean, we went to Tobercurry, and we have a big scene change in the middle, and we had a few people pulled out. We had one guy on pallet duty, as we call him. That was Pádraig Duffy, and it's up to Pádraig explaining blinder there. But he was on his own, and he had to do this big scene change. So we had to ring ahead and say, can you get us 2 bodies there for the interval to do the scene change? And the same down in Wexford as well. We had to ring ahead. So it was bare bones some nights, Jean. Bare bones, you know.
Directing and acting, that must bring its own challenges, because when you're on stage, I'm sure it's very hard to see what else is happening.
It does.
I suppose you rely on observers to give you some insight to what's going on.
You do. It is tricky, and it's not ideal. I didn't set out to be in it, but it's just the way it turned out. A lot of people at the time, it was the height of COVID, we were trying to cast this, and a lot of people didn't want to get involved in shows because they felt, you know, it's not going to go ahead because the previous time the festival had been cut. But I must say, as a director, I take direction very well as an actor for myself. But no, it is tricky. It's very tricky. We got Byrne Thompson in as stage manager early on, and Byrne was eyes for us. And I was constantly asking Byrne, how's that looking? And even physically, sometimes having to get out myself. And it was tricky for Christopher because then he was acting to an empty chair or something, and I was up in the auditorium shouting the lines down to him just so we could see the movement and how things work. But it is hard. It is tricky, yeah. And constantly evolving. And this is, I think, more so than any other festival I've been involved in, taking the notes from the adjudicators, not taking everything on board, but discussing everything and adapting and changing and tightening. And even in our own club, the first 2 shows we went to, like JC, Monica, Sean Lafferty, Kathleen McGowan, all these people were giving me notes, and then just thinking, do we need to change that? Do we need to bring more of the action forward? Do we need to bring the humour out more? Do we need to tighten up that second half because it looks a bit long in places? So all of these things helped me as a director and helped the show in the long term.
Well, I have to say that I saw your very first performance over in the Ballard just before you took it on the road, and I have to say, not saying because you're sitting in front of me, but I was blown away by your performance, especially in the second act. Thanks when you were in the wheelchair and the makeup as well, how you had aged so much. It really, you were a different character.
Yeah, we must thank Brenda Duffy there, member of the group, for the makeup. The character's based on the aging, the physicality of the character is based on my grandfather, Joe Pops Byrne, who was a tunnel tiger, and who did actually end up sitting in a chair coughing up into an old bean can because his lungs were shot to pieces. So that was what I was basing the physicality of Dave in there. But it was a trial and error thing, really. My first show, Helene, my wife, says, I think you're moving too fast. Your hands are moving too fast. So things like that there, that you gotta, and when I go walking, you need to slow down. You just make your movements more measured. So, and then using the chair more, since you've probably seen it, it mightn't be very obvious to some people, but I actually do move around in the chair a lot more before I get out of the chair. So just using your prop, I suppose, a wee bit better.
Fantastic. Well, for those people who haven't seen it and can't get to Athlone, JC, you are going to stage the 2 plays again now in May, isn't that right?
Yes. In other words, will be performed in the Ballard on Sunday, May the 1st. Before we go to the Athlone, we're invited down to do Athlone Fringe Festival on Saturday the 7th. And Shaun's show is on the Ballard the 4th and the 5th. And we won't know the Athlone date until tomorrow. The draw takes place tomorrow and Athlone for the running order for the finals.
Yeah,
We'll know tomorrow.
I was going to ask you, did you know that? So that's the gala performance of the 1 act on May the 1st, and then the 3 act on May the 4th and May the 5th. And I presume the box office 9131840 for tickets, or www.ballarartscentre.com.
Yes.
Well,
and just also in Ballymena for the Ulster final in Ballymena on May the 3rd as well. If there's anybody listening for their field, that's close to Ballymena, they can want to catch us there.
fantastic.
That's May the 3rd.
And it's really good to see new writing as well. You know, I think it was when I was talking to Kieran Kelly about his play Dramateurs, unfortunately they had to pull out of their last festivals too. It's great, you know, not to always have the same place, but to get new writers.
Well, that's true. I definitely, as a writer, I do support that. And just want to say to people out there, just don't be afraid to go and support new writing. I know we all have our favourites, and we all like our John B. Keanes and our Brian Friels, but if somebody's taking a chance, and a group are taking a chance on that writer to put on a new show, just, you know, get along and just check it out and see. You might like it, you know.
Well, the best of luck in the Ulster finals and in the All Ireland. And looking forward to seeing the plays in the Ballard now in the next few weeks. Jason, thanks a million for taking time out to talk to me today.